This is Caitlin, your host of the NoSleep4Dramas Podcast, where we get no sleep and survive on coffee to watch just one more episode at night. Hello, and welcome back to another episode on the NoSleep4Dramas Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today you are getting a 2-for-1 special. Yes, you are getting 2 Chinese drama reviews in one episode. I also apologize if I sound sick. Today, for some reason, I woke up with a sore throat and I was a little congested, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's the weather changing, I don't know, or at least the temperature, but still. Anyway, I could not choose what Chinese drama I was going to review. I decided to do the 2 that I was debating on. So, what happened this week is also, if you hear my cat in the background, for some reason, every time the aircon comes on, she decides to go talk to her ancestors in the next room. Anyway, I had to come up with a episode for the week, and it was very unexpected. And what I normally do is if I can't think of anything to talk about, or if I have nothing planned and I need to find something, or in this case, find something last minute, I dive into my blog reviews. If you guys don't know, I'm sure you guys do at this point. No Sleep for Dramas was a blog before it became a podcast, and I wrote reviews on it for 4 years before this podcast. Eventually, all of those blog posts are going to become podcast reviews. I decided to just wait, and whenever I need an episode and I don't feel like thinking of a new idea or I'm in a bind, I'll pull from that. I decided I was going to do a crime review to this week, and I looked into the blog post reviews, and I found 2 that I wanted to do, and then I couldn't decide which one. So you're getting both in this episode. Hopefully, I don't ramble too long, and this episode is like 2 hours long. I don't think it will be, but either way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one full review first, and then we'll go into the second one. You know definitely what those 2 C dramas are from the title. I'm going to introduce both of them as well, but essentially, I'm going off what I wrote when I watched these. And I haven't rewatched them either. I still agree with the reviews I wrote. I don't think that would change with if I ever rewatch them or anything. If you want to follow along, both of these reviews are a blog post. They've been up on the blog for a while. Those have all the links to my drama list or anything else I might reference as well. Apologize if this might be a somewhat shorter episode and shorter review because I am going off a blog post I wrote 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But nonetheless, both of these Chinese dramas I love, which is why I wanted to do both of them, and I feel like you guys should watch them too. And I'm sure some of you guys have because they are older. The first one I'm going to talk about is a Chinese drama called Stealth Walker. It came out in 2021. I'll introduce the cast and then I'll also do a quick synopsis and then I'll go into my review. When I wrote these, both of them don't have spoilers in it, so you don't need to worry about spoilers. This will be a spoiler-free review for both of them. Feel free to comment or anything if you've seen these. But let's go and do it. And again, I apologize if I sound congested. Stealth Walker is a 2021 Yoku Chinese drama. Came out in August 11th and aired 24 episodes from August 11th to August 27th. It stars Lin Peng. She plays a cop named Lin Jiang. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of those names. Stealth Walker is not the first time I've seen this actress. She was in a crime drama in 2019 called The Listener. That's where I was introduced to her. She also was in Chinese dramas such as Court Lady from 2021. A more recent Chinese drama, she was in Riverside Code of Kingming Festival, which I still want to watch. And she also had a guest role in Perfect Match as well from this year. She's been acting for quite some time, about 10 years or so. And then the male lead, I'm sure a lot of you guys know because he's quite famous and has been acting for a while. The male lead is Zheng Yucheng. He came from a dance background, so he is known for having very beautiful sword fighting and wire work skills, which people noticed that for. I've actually seen him in a lot of things. I think my first introduction was Love 020. He plays a support character in that, I think one of the friends. And so a lot of people know him from that. He also was in dramas like Royal Nirvana. He was in Love Under the Full Moon, Brocade Odyssey. He had a supporting role in Kill My Sins, as well as A Moment But Forever from this year. Also was in modern dramas like Desire Catcher from 2023. He's been in a lot of stuff, and you guys probably know him quite well. So those are the two leads. He plays a drug lord's son. She plays a cop. And then some of the supporting role you guys might know, we have Easy Fang. He is a supporting role. I think he is a cop in this one as well. You might know him from Loy Yang or The Furthest Distance. I know him from Miss Gu Who Is Silent. He has a very, very good role in that. Very underrated crime drama, in my opinion. Amazing chemistry with the female lead. You might also know Wang Zigong. He is a veteran actor who has been around for quite some time. He was in dramas like Mr. and Mrs. Chen, Be Your Own Light, Royal Feast, The Long Night. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Who else might you recognize? This cast is actually quite big because you have the cops and the team, and then you also have a band of drug lords and their henchmen as well. So there's actually quite a lot of people in this. We'll just go with that. Two supporting characters, two main leads. The main leads, those are the people you care about. Li Peng and Zhang Yicheng. The synopsis for this is you have Li Chang, the cop, as a police in a police academy. She has not graduated or is recently graduated. And while she's there, her parents are killed by a drug lord. And through this investigation of her parents, multiple undercover cops have been killed trying to investigate this case, but also just other cases trying to get this drug lord and discover information about him. And no one has really been successful. Due to her revenge story, she basically volunteers to go undercover and investigate this drug lord. And that's where she meets Zhang Yi Chang's character. He plays Zhang Shanhei, who is the adopted son of the drug lord. She pretends to get close to him to get information, and then things get messy when they actually fall for each other. She falls for him, he falls for her, and then he obviously finds out her true identity eventually. You also discover too that he is not there just because he is the adopted son. There's other motivations on why he's there and in this world as well. They sort of team up at some point. That is basically the synopsis of it. She's undercover. He is a drug lord's son, and things get messy and romance gets involved. That's what this is. My overall review of this is the type of crime drama that is right up my alley. I love when you have crime and romance together, and that's done well. And this, I think, in my opinion, is done quite well. It surprised me in many different ways on where the story was going to go, who might be the betrayers in a situation, who is lying, who is telling the truth, who is a secret ally, that type of stuff. And I remember when I watched this first, it took me a while to finish this because I think I put it on the back burner and was trying to finish some other things. And I remember coming back to it and just binging the hell out of the rest of it. I binged it over a course of like 2 days. I finished it. Once you get into it, in my opinion, you can't really put it down. At least that's what happened to me. Yes, I put it on the back burner, but when I went back and like started watching again, I think I dropped everything else and I binged the hell out of Stealth Walker. All right, so we are going to get into why I love this drama, and then afterwards, I'm going to talk about a couple things of why it could have been better, and then my overall rating for it. Why I love this drama, and I think this is the major reason why. I actually made an Instagram reel when I was watching this, and it is my most watched Instagram reel of all time. I think it has 17,000 views on it. I'm very proud. It's literally a scene. It's not that deep. It's the lead couple. You watch Stealth Walker for the leads. They are probably the best part of this drama. The minute they are together, chemistry is off the charts. You watch it for their chemistry. It is amazing. It's so good. You literally look forward to the scenes when they're going to be together on screen. They have the type of chemistry where they don't even have to say anything to each other. Or they can be together in a scene, but other people are in the room or in the scene itself, and their chemistry is still there. They could be on opposite sides of the room, and their chemistry is still there, in my opinion. It just seemed like the actors worked effortlessly together, and the looks they gave each other were amazing. That is the major reason why I love this crime drama, because of the leads and their chemistry and what the drama did with their chemistry, because it was amazing. Another good thing about this drama is you have Lin Peng's character. Not only was she the strong female lead, but in my opinion, any of the female characters in this drama were strong female characters, and each kind of had their own story and their own problems they were facing. And this drama, I think, was a good example of being strong, quote unquote, being strong, could take on many different meanings. It wasn't your typical, I'm a cop, I'm going to go kick your ass type situation. Granted, Lim Peng's character was that, but not every female character had that personality in this, and yet they were still a very strong female character. None of the female characters in this drama were meek. They were not the damsel in distress types, but they were unique. They had their own background and their own definition of being strong with what problems they were facing in this drama and what issues or obstacles they were doing and what they had to overcome with that. And it's not something you typically get in a crime drama, which is why it was so refreshing to see, because usually, if you have a crime drama like this, who have romance and the leads, the story really does concentrate on the female lead. In Stealth Walker, yes, that does happen, but the supporting female characters also get some storyline and some scenes that showcase that they are just not characters on the wall or characters that are there to be killed off. They have this story that has depth and gives them the space to have their own storyline with whoever they need to interact with. I loved the female characters in Stealth Walker overall. All right, another good thing about Stealth Walker is it is a very fast-paced action drama. You will not get bored with this drama. It's only 24 episodes, so it is a quick watch, but man, this drama moves really fast. Once it's started, it's like boom, 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 boom. It does not slow down and it doesn't stop. There's no fluff. It gets to the point. It moves to the next plot point once one is wrapped up. Full action, tension, nail-biting scenarios, like what you want in an action-filled, I'm undercover in this drug operation crime drama. On top of the chemistry going off the charts with the lead characters. If you like that scenario, if that sounds like something you will like, you will love this drama, for sure. Lastly, I love the OSTs from this drama. All the songs are fantastic. I love the scores. I love the scores of crime dramas in general because the instrumentals with crime dramas, I think, are always unique and there's always something surprising in them. I still listen to the OSTs of this Chinese drama and I watched it. When did I rate this? It had to be, yeah, I watched it 3 years ago, and I still listen to the OSTs. You want an OST that reminds you of, like, a scene or a character long after the drama is done, this is the OST for you. I mean, I still remember what scenes go with the OSTs when they come on. It is just a very memorable OST for Stealth Walker, and I quite enjoyed the music from this Chinese drama. All right, those are 4 things I liked about Stealth Walker. Now, we're going to get into a couple things that I felt they could have done better at the time I wrote this, and I still agree with it. One is the lead couple screen time. Because their chemistry was so good, and you literally look forward to their scenes that they're together, and you're so invested in this couple, I needed more screen time with them together because it took them a bit for them to meet. And then there was various plots and scenarios where they had to be apart for a period of time, like she had to sneak back to her police station or he had to go on a mission or something. They were apart far more than I would have wanted them to be because they were so good together. So good together. I wanted them more on my screen. This is a personal problem for me, but just saying, if you watch this and you fall in love with this couple and their chemistry as much as I did, you will be aggravated on the fact that they are going to be apart in this drama. There will never be enough screen time for these two. I hope they do another drama together. I really do, because they had amazing chemistry. But yeah, you will definitely notice that they don't have a lot of screen time, or at least they should have more screen time. I shouldn't say they don't have a lot because they are the main leads, but in my opinion, they could have had more. The other thing that might be a little difficult for some people, but if you've been watching Chinese dramas for a while, you'll be used to this. There's a lot of characters and there's a lot of names to remember. Since the plot moves fast and you're sort of thrown into it, you're going from like the police station and her team to the drug lord organizations where you're meeting the people that are close to the male lead and his family, but also meeting other drug lords and their henchmen. You're getting a lot of names and a lot of characters thrown at you in a very short period of time. And for me, it was hard to keep track, especially within the drug organization, who was who, especially if they weren't on screens, because they'd have these conversations and they were like, "Oh, so and so decided to take over the 5th district today with this person, this person, this person." No one who they were talking about were in the room. And I was like, "Okay, who is that? Is that this person?" It was a little hard to sometimes keep track of names, especially if they were not talking to that person or they weren't in the room. And then also, they would introduce these characters that were there for like 1 to 2 episodes and then they would leave again. Or they might like be there for 1 to 2 episodes and then they get mentioned 6 episodes, 10 episodes later, and you're like, "Wait, who is that guy?" Just be warned that there's a lot of characters and a lot of names. Just saying. Another thing that people might not like, I liked, but I'm used to it because it's a crime drama. It's stressful to watch this drama. It is a fast-paced crime drama, but if you get invested in this and you get invested in the story, it can be stressful because you care about these characters, you invest in these characters, you have an attachment to these characters. And then you're dealing with like them constantly being in danger, them being undercover, which is dangerous within itself. Cliffhangers, the drama has really good cliffhangers. So I'm so glad I did not watch this as it aired because that's the one of the reasons why I binged it so hard, because you get a cliffhanger and you immediately want to get to the next episode at least. When you're dealing with characters who are undercover for one and then thrust into a drug organization that is a constant dangerous scenario just waiting to happen, both inside their own organization and with enemy drug lords, you're going to be stressed while watching this. It's entertaining. It's very satisfying to watch. It's a good, fast paced, good time. But man, it is stressful, I will say. So that is my short review of Stealth Walker. I highly recommend this one. I would recommend this for two things. One is you have never tried a crime Chinese drama and you want a fast paced one that, yes, some maybe have a lot of characters, but it will keep your interest. Try this one. Or if you are already a lover of crime dramas or Chinese crime dramas and you just haven't watched this one yet, highly recommend this one as well. I rated this an 8 out of 10, and I stick by that. I think it's a solid, solid crime drama. Not the best one I've ever seen in my life, but it's a solid, solid, good crime drama. That is my review for Stealth Walker. If you have watched this, please comment and let me know what you thought. If you haven't and you go and watch this, please let me know what you think about it, because I know a couple people who have seen this drama, but I have not heard of a ton of people who have watched this drama. The next review we're going to do is, of course, a fan favorite, and I think a lot of people have seen this. I actually have not watched season 2 yet, which is my bad. I have so many like season 2s and season 3s of things I have not watched, but I have not watched season 2 of this one. Apparently there's a rumor we're getting a season 3 as well. That is the crime drama Under the Skin. Season 1, which I'll be reviewing, aired in 2022. And I watched it in 2022. I don't think I watched it as it aired though. Yeah, I don't think I watched it as it aired. I rarely watch Chinese dramas as they air. But I remember I noticed this one because when they first brought up the synopsis of it, it was such a unique setup that I needed to watch it. I mean, you have a artist and a cop team up to solve crime. That was unique to me. This is the review I wrote for it on the blog back in 2022. Under the Skin aired in 2022. It had 20 episodes. It aired from March 6th to March 16th. The main two leads we have, of course, is Tan Jian. I'm gonna butcher these names. I always butcher his name. Tan Jian-chi? I think that's how you pronounce it. I probably said it wrong. You, of course, would recognize him from Under the Skin and Under the Skin 2. Filter from this year. He was in Lost You Forever is another famous role he did. He was also in dramas like Winter Begonia or Court Lady. I think a lot of people will know him from Lost You Forever, another one I have not seen yet. And then you have Jin Shija. I love this actor. I have been watching him for years. I was so happy when he got this role because he is such a good actor, and I think he just has not had he has stable work. He is known for certain dramas but I think he's one of those actors who has never gotten like the big break type of situation. For example, he starred in a multiple season Chinese drama that started from 2009 to 2014 called I Apartment. I think there was 4 or 5 seasons of it. He's known in China for that. And then he just goes up from there. I watched him, I think it was The Locked Room. I think that was my first introduction. I have seen I Apartment, but I don't think I watched that first. I think I watched that later. Anyway, you might know him from I Apartment, The Locked Room, Tianset Mystic Season 2, he was in that. Murderous Affair in Horizon Tower, he had a support role in there. Fantastic crime drama, in my opinion. Of course, we now know him from Under the Skin and Under the Skin Season 2. Currently, he's starring in Sword Rose, which is a recent crime drama, which I really need to watch, but I'm waiting for all the episodes to be out. I wanna say it's done. If not, it's, like, almost done. If you have a chance to watch this man in a drama, please watch Under the Skin, but, just any of his other dramas. He's fantastic, in my opinion. He also starred in The Heart, which was a great drama I've heard. I have not seen it. His resume is fantastic. We'll just say that. That's the 2 leads. That's who you're gonna really recognize. Maybe some other people you're going to recognize is Baby Zhang. She was in She and Her Perfect Husband, Murderous Affair in Horizon Tower. She has a support role in that. She was in Moonshine and Valentine. That's where I was introduced to her. She was just in Justifiable Defense. That was her most recent drama. And then you might also recognize Lawrence Wang. He is a prominent veteran actor. He's been acting for years. You might recognize him from Eternal Love a Dream or Eternal Love, both of them. He was in The Wind Blows from Long Chi, The Heart of Genius, Ode to Joy, multiple seasons of Ode to Joy, along with multiple seasons of Like a Flowing River. Many, many, many dramas. So he's a veteran actor as well. There's a lot of guest roles on Under the Skin, so you'll probably recognize a lot of the guest roles. I'm not going to go like into that, but the main 2 roles you would need to know are Zhang Xijia, who plays the cop, and then there's Tan Jian-chi, who plays the artist. What is Under the Skin about? At least in season 1, the synopsis of this is due to an incident 5 years prior to when this Chinese drama started, Shen Yi, who is the artist, who is played by Tan Jian-chi, he caused the death unknowingly of a detective through his drawing of a child. And so 5 years after that, he joins the police force as a sketch artist, and he is partnered with Du Cheng, who is played by Jin Shijia. And the detective who died was a very close friend to Du Cheng. And so they don't like each other. More like Du Cheng does not like our artist guy because he blames him for the death of his friend. But over time, they work on cases, and Shen Yi starts to impress Du Cheng and others in the station due to the results that he gets through these cases. So they become closer, they work together, and then you have this overarching case that started 5 years ago that comes back, and they now have to investigate this overarching case that have really burdened them and caused trauma with both of them. And then they have to solve it. So that is the synopsis of season 1. Now, I was drawn into this Chinese drama because of the pairing of a cop and an artist. Nothing really had ever popped up like that before, and I was curious how that was gonna happen because obviously we do have sketch artists in real life. They do come into the police force and help with missing persons cases or people trying to remember what a suspect looked like. They exist. It's not a made up profession. I had never seen that happen or come about in a crime drama, no matter the country. So I was drawn to that aspect. Also, through research, I learned that Tanjan Cheese actually did a lot of research. He like followed around sketch artists, he took some classes, he did some in-depth research to portray a sketch artist and an artist in general. So I thought that dedication to the role sparked my interest because I wanted to see if it paid off. And I think, in my opinion, it did. Really did. Overall, I liked this drama. If you like crime dramas, you will definitely like this one. You'll not be disappointed. It's a solid and entertaining drama with, as I said, some unique aspects like a sketch artist and a cop pairing up that I had not seen at the time when I wrote this. A couple of the things in this drama, though, did not work for me as well, which I'll go into. The first things that I loved, which I think a lot of people do, are the leads. I mean, them paired together, they have great chemistry. I love their dynamic. I love that we had a grumpy cop who did not like his partner and the artist who sort of didn't like him. There was a lot of animosity between the two because the cop, Du Cheng, came in hot and did not like the guy. And of course, Shen Yi also felt sorry for the stuff that he caused 5 years ago, even if it was accidental. He had a lot of trauma and a lot of things to work through with that as well through this drama, which I liked watching. They each had their own talents that they brought to the partnership, and I thought they worked well together. Even though their relationship started off really rocky, which is a trope when it comes to crime dramas, Du Cheng, I think, overall really respected Shen Yi for his talent and the unique things and unique talent he brought to the cases they were solving. And eventually, Du Chen, I think, could put aside his personal problems to appreciate that Chen Yi did help out the team, and eventually that led to a mutual trust. I also liked that even though Du Cheng came in really hot and did not like Shen Yi, it didn't last very long. He couldn't hold the grudge very long. And the progression, even though it didn't last very long, seemed really natural. It didn't seem like he was grumpy one second and mad at Shen Yi, and then the next day he was completely fine and did not have a grudge anymore. It was gradual, but it wasn't over 25 episodes and then the last 5 episodes they were working together. I thought that that progression of their relationship was really natural and really nice to see. And then their personalities, even though they were complete opposites, they worked well together and they complemented each other a lot. So the leads are a big highlight for me in this drama, as well as I think a lot of other people. Another thing that I liked about this drama is the art. The pairing doesn't just investigate like homicide cases, which they do, and sometimes that does have art brought into the crime, but sometimes they literally investigate like art theft or something like that. And so this drama having that unique aspect of art being a major topic was quite interesting to me. Shen Yi, not only is he a forensic artist, a sketch artist, he's also an art professor. The drama highlights the profession of a forensic artist, but also being an art professor sometimes. And the fact that they show this profession of a forensic artist and a sketch artist and how they go about their daily lives and solve crime and what you can do with that in a professional sense was really interesting to me because I'd never seen that ever, and it's a profession you don't see a lot in crime dramas. I liked that they highlighted that part of this drama and didn't just say, "Oh, he's a sketch artist," and that's pretty much what they did. They went into the profession, they showed what it was like, and then another thing in the episode, because he was an art professor, Zhen Yi had a art lecture featured in every episode, and every lecture correlated with something in the case that they were going to be solving in that episode. So you would watch this lecture and then the case would most likely be after the lecture. And so I had a lot of fun trying to figure out how the art he was talking about in his lecture, what it had to do with the case they were investigating. And I thought that was really nice. And also the art was really nice to look at. It was beautiful. I went to a creative art school, so I do like art a lot. I am not an artist. I am very untalented in that. I don't know. Some people say have some talent. I do not think so. I know a lot of other people who are way more talented than me, including my mother. But yeah, I just thought the art being woven into the story of all of this was great, and I loved how they highlighted that. Another thing I noticed, which I said I notice a lot in dramas, is the cinematography. I think with art being a major theme, it allowed the production to do a lot of creative things with cinematography. And there's two reasons why I noticed this. One reason is you had a character that was drawing all the time, obviously. Shen Yi was drawing all the time, creating pieces to either help the police, help the case, or he was also a professor. So he was also just drawing for his own pleasure a lot. The production would shoot these scenes where it was highlighting the art that was being made, and then they came up with creative ways to shoot the art he was drawing. And it didn't seem repetitive. It didn't seem stale after you've seen him draw this art for 20 something episodes. They found unique ways to show that, and it didn't get boring, which I liked. And because they were trying to not make it boring, I think it led to a lot of creative and interesting choices on how to show off the art and also him drawing the art. Another reason is art is a major theme of the drama. The production took the opportunity for the drama to be a little artsy itself. So their lighting and their camera angles were interesting and it stood out. Some of the choices the production made highlighted the cases they were talking about and also even highlighted certain characters. So they would do creative light things where they would put different light colors with who they were talking about or who was in the scene. And I think that the creative choices with the lighting and the camera angles, how they were using those to highlight certain things when it came to the cases, were unique and fun to watch. And I think it paid off to make Under the Skin stand out among a lot of the Chinese crime dramas. Two more things I liked. The cases. It's the cases themselves. I love when dramas use their platform, as I've said many, many times. I love when dramas use their platforms to talk about real life issues and social issues. Under the Skin did a lot of that with the cases they were investigating. We saw everything from sexual assault to plastic surgery to fraud within these cases, and they didn't shy away from these issues that you definitely can relate to and can find in society today in reality. I think the drama showed these cases in a light that highlighted the issue and criticized the issue, of course, but also did it in a caring way where it wasn't just like victim blaming or something. I thought that it made the cases quite interesting, had some nice twists on them, and again, using their platform to talk about these issues that needed to be talked about. Lastly, the thing I wanted to shout out was the acting. I mean, I think the acting was great because it drew you in. You felt like these actors cared about their characters and how they portrayed them, and then of course it caused the audience to become attached to these characters and care about them and their character arcs from the beginning to the end, especially our two leads. Tan Junchi did a very subtle acting job in this, and then you have Du Cheng who had a louder personality. He was quick-tempered, had a bigger presence on screen. But that was a dynamic you liked watching, and I think the actors found their own strengths within the characters and ran with it. And I think the personalities of the two characters were basically the opposites of the same coin. They worked well together, and you started to care for them. And then, of course, the supporting cast, including the people portraying the criminals, were all well acted as well. Some of the people portraying the criminals in this were fantastic and were unhinged and great. But the leads, I think, obviously stand out, and I think that's how the story wanted them to be. But the acting in this was quite good, I will say. All right, so some things that I think could have been better. The cases. Not all the cases were great. I think some were better than others. It was more of like personal preference because, like, for me, I can't turn my brain off when I watch these crime dramas, really. I try to, I really do. But having a criminal justice background and watching so many crime dramas, I naturally criticize crime dramas. So there's some cases where it just either didn't make sense or it was too easy to guess, that type of situation. So I just thought some of the cases were better than others. That might not be the case for other people. People might like the cases I didn't like very much, or they might dislike one I liked very much. So I think it's a real personal preference on which cases you'll like more than others. Some of the cases were great though, and some had some great twists, but I wouldn't say all of the cases were fantastic. Case in point, another thing that could have been better was the last case. I found that solving the overall case, the overarching case that was the big issue between these two leads with his dead partner or dead detective 5 years prior, I found that was quite boring, and I will still agree with that, but I don't really know why it was boring for me. Maybe because it was, like, the last case. I think I was expecting more than what I got. It was very anticlimactic, in my opinion. Maybe it was because the case was taken throughout the drama and they were revealing clues throughout the drama, so then by the end, I wasn't really surprised because we had already been given all this information, so there was only one conclusion by the end or something like that. I was bored with the last case and the overarching case by the end. I had a lot more fun with some of the cases they encountered throughout the drama than the overarching last case. I think that could have been better. And then for me, this wasn't really a problem, especially because we might be now getting a season 3. At the time when I wrote this, it is obvious that you are going to get a season 2 for this. So you now have to go watch season 2 after season 1. Some people like that, some people don't care. If it's a good drama, I'll watch the next season, whatever. But this drama definitely left off at a point where it was not a cliffhanger per se, but it's definitely like, "Oh, no, we are definitely thinking of doing a season 2." So, just a fair warning, you will probably need to watch season 2 if you start season 1. So that is my review of Under the Skin season 1. I rated this an 8.5 out of 10. You can watch this on Viki and iQIYI. You can also watch Stealth Walker, I think, on Viki and Youku. I think I said it was a Yoku uh, drama. I watch it on Viki. But now you can see why I did a 2-for-1 special, because I am now done with both reviews. But that's okay. That's okay. We have plenty of reviews we could talk about. But thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this quick C-drama review of both of these crime shows. I highly recommend both of these. They are great crime dramas. So if you have never watched a Chinese crime drama, start out with these two. These are very good examples of what you can find in Chinese crime drama world. There are better ones. If you ever want to have me talk about more, please let me know. I did do an episode a while back of some of my favorite Chinese crime dramas. I want to say both of these are mentioned in it. I could be wrong. Yes, these are mentioned in that episode. So now you get a full review of both of them. Please go watch these though. If you have watched these, please comment. Let me know what you think of the reviews. Let me know what you thought of the drama. If you haven't and you go and watch these dramas, please come back and let me know what you think, or DM me on Instagram, TikTok, wherever. I highly recommend these Chinese dramas, and I hope you guys, after hearing these reviews, you go and check them out, and even go and check out my favorite Chinese crime dramas, part 1. I do plan to do more of them, also from all of the other countries too, eventually. So that's going to be an ongoing series. But let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this quick 2-part Chinese drama review. If you want to continue the conversations about dramas that were started in this episode, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky under the username NoSleep4Dramas. That is no sleep, the number 4 dramas, just like in the title of the podcast. This podcast is also an expansion of my blog, so you can visit my blog at www.NoSleep4Dramas.com, the number 4 dramas.com, and find multiple years of blog posts already available at your fingertips. All links are in the description of this episode. Finally, please give this podcast a like or a follow wherever you listen to the podcast. Leaving a comment or a review also helps a lot. We love hearing ideas and feedback from all of you. Share the podcast with your friends as well. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast, and I am your host, Caitlin. I will see you here next time, and I hope you get no sleep chasing the next episode just like me. Good night.